our unconscious is a lot more responsible for what we choose to do than our conscious mind.
The more and the better you know yourself, the more accurately you can probably articulate why that made you feel that way, and that will help you in every facet of your life.
I have had this problem of like approaching everybody in good faith, whether they deserve
What a problem.
It's not like the answer to this is to come in with a bundle of flowers and sunshine and rainbows and give your critiques with a smile on your face and all the kind words. I also want to push back against that. I mean,
tell me that again. You seem to know more about this than me. In public, I would never have that's like a nightmare for me. Like,
that's what people really want when they are talking to you at all. They are talking to you because they want you to...
Like anybody.
Do you see what I'm seeing?
Kill me slowly. I want to feel everything.
Welcome back to the State of the Art podcast. My name is Mike.
My name's Kason.
We have some very important announcements to make right off the bat. Hitoshi Sakimoto, the composer of Final Fantasy Tactics, Vagrant Story, and Final Fantasy XII, as well as many, many, many games from Vanillaware, like Odin Sphere. I don't know if he specifically did 13 Sentinels, but his studio did. No. So like that composer, right?
Cool.
We've done a whole episode on his music in Final Fantasy XII and kind of talked about why we like him. Would you be surprised if I were to tell you that he has never done a concert series before?
I'm utterly shocked. Absolutely shocked.
Yeah.
That he's done like huge million copy selling games.
Yeah.
And he's never like performed live, even in Japan?
No, never.
Oh, wow. I'm shocked.
He has never done one before. And with Distant Worlds and other Final Fantasy concert series, Uematsu and other composers have had their music performed by live orchestras.
Here's why that's shocking to me. Uematsu's first concert was 1989. And it was just Final Fantasy 1 and 2.
Yep.
And those sold extremely well, but like not quite like FF12.
Yeah.
Sold extremely well.
Yeah.
So like once you do that and then Tactics and all that, I'm just shocked. I'm shocked.
So he will be doing his first ever concert. It's going to be happening this summer.
Is he going to be conducting as well?
I don't think he will conduct, but he will be in attendance.
But he'll be there
for the event.
That would be cool.
It's going to be on Saturday, June 13th, 2026 at the Fairfield Concert Hall in London. So if you are in that area, I am going to be there as well. I'm going to be attending the event along with Daryl from Final Fantasy Union and the Night Sky Prince. There's going to be a little sort of get-together we do before the concert at noon, from noon to 3 p.m. There's going to be a Final Fantasy Union pub quiz. And the three of us will be there, and we'll kind of have an interactive sort of, quiz, sort of trivia sort of game that we do with people. And then from 4 to 5 p.m., there's going to be an educational event with Hitoshi Sakimoto.
Oh, sweet.
And then the concert will begin at 6 p.m. The Colors of Harmony is the name of the concert in the concert
And it's just
hall.
all of his works?
Just his stuff.
Going way back? So what does educational event mean?
Probably just to sit down, I would think. Well, let me actually just read. Let me just read through what the event description is here. The Colors of Harmony marks the world premiere of a unique symphonic celebration dedicated to the extraordinary 40-year career of composer Hitoshi Sakimoto, whose evocative soundtracks have brought to life the fantastical worlds crafted by renowned Japanese studios Vanillaware and Square Enix. For this historic occasion, Maestro Sakimoto will honor the audience with his presence, joined by the illustrious London Mozart players and an ensemble of acclaimed soloists. Under Sakimoto's visionary direction, Bass Escape has created music that holds an enduring place in the hearts of millions of gamers worldwide. The Colors of Harmony will present this legacy in concert for the first time, featuring beloved themes from the Vanillaware's iconic titles, including 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, and Odin Sphere, alongside timeless Square Enix masterpieces such as Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy XII. Beyond the concert itself, Fairfield Halls will host a full day of attractions for fans of Sakimoto's music. Together with Final Fantasy Union, we are organizing a special Final Fantasy pub quiz hosted by Daryl from Final Fantasy Union and Ben Starr, the voice actor of
FF16,
Final Fantasy 16's Clive,
Claire
and
Obscure,
Claire Obscure, Verso. Yep.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff lately.
We plan to have quite a few special guests there to guide each party on their quest for victory. I will be leading one of those teams.
Nice.
And I believe Night Sky Prince will be another.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Fans will also have the rare opportunity to attend an educational talk with Hitoshi Sakimoto, hosted by Alex Mokala. If you don't know him, he's a big YouTuber as well. He does music and has done like a lot of, I believe he's worked on games too, but a lot of like Final Fantasy remixes and stuff on his channel. He's a musician and composer.
This is a whole event.
It's a big thing.
This is awesome.
Educational events are a hallmark of the Game Music Festival, and participation in them is an essential part of the full GMF experience. So, if you want admission into all three of those things, the Final Fantasy Union pub quiz, the educational event, and then the concert, you'll need a Band A ticket.
Okay.
So, Band A tickets include admission for the Final Fantasy Union pub quiz, educational meeting, and the Colors of Harmony concert. I will be leaving a link to where you can buy this, both in the description, whether you're on one of our audio-only sources or on YouTube, as well as in the pinned comment on YouTube. So if you would like to attend that, click the link, go and check it out. If you're in England, obviously, that'd be the easiest, but even in European countries nearby, and it's not too bad of a flight to get over, and you would like to come and meet up with me or any of those other creators and maybe get to sit down with Hitoshi Sakimoto, please hit up those links. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I'm actually going to be in London for the entire week leading up to the event on Saturday.
Oh, cool.
So I will be there for a longer period if people would like to meet up before the event, or maybe even on the day of or after the concert's over. So send me a DM on Discord if you're interested in that. But just wanted to announce that. That's happening. Tickets are on sale. Get your Band A tickets and come in and hang out with us. Now, additionally, I did a little bit of a hangout with one of our Discord members and Patreon supporters. I'll refer to him here as his username is here, Aronis or Hopeless Romantics. We met up in California, where he's from, and he and Great One, actually, who also follows us here and is a patron as well. They were kind enough to pay for dinner. I went and tried Vietnamese food for the first time.
Oh, sweet.
It was freaking awesome. I freaking loved it. I had, I think they call it pho.
Yeah, pho.
P-H-O.
It's like a type of ramen, but
it's
for Southeast Asia. Yeah.
With
coconut,
like beef in there and stuff.
Yeah.
It was really good. I really loved it. I'll be having more of that in the future.
Sweet.
So thank you for that. But they also got us some other gifts. And so I wanted to kind of open these up. Kaysen has not seen these yet, but the recent Magic the Gathering collaboration with Final Fantasy, they have a whole bunch of different decks for each of the games, right? So he went ahead and got us the Final Fantasy VI pack. And so if you open that up, you can see some of the really cool art. I've put them in order so that you can see like the generals in the front, which are like the really cool cards.
This is so many more cards than I expected.
It's a lot. You just can take them out one by one.
How do I? Oh, I see. So this whole thing has... Okay, Terra. Very
you want to put it on the camera so people can see some
I
of that
can,
art?
but there are tons.
We don't have to go through all of them.
There are tons. So
Terra is
Terra,
like the
Herald
commander of that deck.
Yeah, I wonder what
well,
artist they got to do.
I'm not sure who the artist is. That's a very good question.
They're very cool. And of course...
And that's Celeste is the second one.
So did they do all the Final Fantasy, or is it just a couple of them?
So they have a Final Fantasy VII deck. I mean, we have a Noctis.
So are these all 6?
Those are all 6. So that's the deck for like 6. There's other cards in there that are kind of mixed in, but like this one here is... Well, this is like Lord of the Rings stuff. So we have the One Ring card here.
Oh, dope.
Right? So they have... Lord of the Rings crossover, so they gave us a deck that has a bunch of that.
This has lightning.
Yeah, like I actually opened that in a pack. So they bought me one of the small packs, like the $9.99 packs,
where you don't
just
know
to
what you're
open
gonna
it up to get the first experience opening a Magic the
Yeah.
Gathering deck. And I opened a Lightning in there, which is apparently a pretty good card. So I kind of put that in there. And then we've got a Noctis deck, I believe. Here's just some art cards. They're not like a card you can use in
cool.
the game, but this one's like Cloud Strife, right? So he put together several decks. And if anytime you'd like, I now understand how the game works.
Oh,
we can
good.
sit down and kind of like go through how to play the game. It's actually not too bad. It's pretty simple. But he gave us a Noctis deck and a bunch of others. And so I just wanted to say thank you to Aronis and Great One. Really, really appreciate that. I sat down and played Magic the Gathering with Aronis and a buddy of his at a card shop. He taught me the ropes, taught me how to play the game. It was a good time. So anyways, that was a nice little sort of get together that we did recently that I wanted to let people know about. And I do travel a lot for work.
Gao. Gao, dude.
Yeah.
Gao's dope.
We got Gao. Let me put this on the screen here. Here he is.
Inspired, in my opinion.
I guess he's got to be
Gollum.
in focus. I can't get him closer because you can't see him. He's got to be in focus. But there he is. Right.
Gao's
Pretty
the best.
sweet. The art is really cool. The cards themselves are pretty awesome in terms of like, you know, how you use them in the game, like strategically and stuff. I think they did a really good job with this. And they have other crossover events. I believe they do a Marvel one as well. And so anyways, it's super cool. Really, really fun gift. Really, really appreciate you guys for doing that for us. Even though you're already patrons and you're already like supporting the channel, you still felt the need to gift that to us. And so we just wanted to say thank you. Show everybody how cool that gift was that you guys gave to us. And I do travel a lot for work. So if I'm ever in an area where other people are at and you want to meet up at some point, I'm totally down for doing that. And this London trip is going to be a really good opportunity for any of our listeners or viewers who are in Europe.
In the old world.
Because I've only been to Europe once before, and at work I'm not going to be doing nearly as much international travel. It's mostly going to be domestic moving forward.
Oh, I see.
So last time I was in Europe, I was in Bulgaria, and then Spain briefly, but it's probably going to be, I don't know how many more times I will make it out that way necessarily. So this is a good opportunity if you'd like to meet up, to hit me up in London.
Yeah, as many times as Hitoshi Sakimoto does
concerts. Well, we do also kind of have what's beginning to turn into a pretty cool working relationship with Daryl from Final Fantasy.
We
and
talk
he's
to him
from there.
often.
So there may be opportunities here or there where we go out there for other unannounced currently other reasons
maybe
film other content. But anyways, just wanted to announce that. Make sure everyone's aware of that. Links are in the description and everything, so go check that out. Okay. Now that we're done with that, last time, well, there's been a lot of VR content on this channel recently. So we did a whole podcast episode where we speculated about its future and like the layoffs at Meta and stuff. That just went live as of the time we're recording this today.
Just a couple hours ago, yeah.
Then we did a follow-up podcast episode where I was an evangelist and was trying to tell everyone to get into VR. Yeah. And I also made a whole separate video essay.
Really?
Those went up in the same week, which should have been last week, according to when this podcast releases. And so there's been a lot of VR content. But Kaysen has finally come into the studio and actually tried it, and it didn't last long.
No. And we talked about it. I have eye troubles, and it. I also, when I was a kid, I used to get car sick. That came back pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's fun to just kind of sit down and look around, but as soon as I'm moving through the environment, just the way the textures move, I feel like maybe if there was some motion blur, it might be able to help. But it was rough. Let's just say that a few more hours.
He got motion sick.
A few more minutes, and I would have thrown up.
Almost
legitimately
right
thrown
away.
up. Yeah.
So wanted to, as a follow-up to talking about how great it is and everyone should try it,
I am glad I
let
tried
you know
it
that
again.
this is a thing. We talked about barriers to entry and stuff like that, and so maybe give it a whirl first. That being said, there are ways, just like with seasickness or other things, to kind of overcome the motion sickness aspect of it.
Take some Dramamine ahead before you play VR.
And we did try this. There is sort of a tunneling effect, like a vignette that they'll do to try to help. I don't know if that helped you that much.
I can't say it did, no. We were doing it for Resident Evil 4.
For Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
But you were like holding the guns and kind of like reloading them
was
and
cool.
kind of seeing how it works.
Yeah.
Grabbing stuff in the environment and looking at it. And the concern you had about focus when your glasses were on,
that helped the focus a lot.
Seemed to help.
Yeah, that was really cool. It's for me to be able to put that on. And it's so funny. When I wasn't moving, it feels like I'm in a world. As soon as I start moving, I feel like I'm sitting way too close to my television screen at home, and I'm just like right there. I can feel. Yeah, okay, I don't think TVs do this anymore, but the old CRT TVs, you could kind of feel the static coming off of them when you got too close.
Yes.
I remember playing these games when I was a kid, and I would get way too close to the TV to where the tip of my nose would start feeling the static coming off of the TV. I almost felt like that. Like I'm just like, whoa, how do I back away from the TV here? And I can't because it's hugging my face.
Yeah.
But when I'm not moving, it feels like I'm in an environment that's not too close to a TV.
Yeah. So go demo it somewhere. Try it out. See how it makes you feel. See what it feels like to do like the shifting forward or shifting your camera around, like snapping it or teleporting versus the continuous motion. Try the vignetting versus not. See how it works for you before you invest a lot of money. There were the reason I wanted to do this too is because there were a couple of people like right away after we did the last episode who were here in the Discord live while recording it, who were like went out and bought it like on our recommendation right away. And I was like, I hope that you don't get motion sick.
I mean,
I really hope so.
Buy it from a place with a good return policy.
Yeah, exactly. But I have been loving it. I have so many games on there now, man. I'll have already done the other video, so we don't need to go over it. But I have probably about 20 games for VR now that I've played. Space Sims to like melee sword and shield combat to shooters to tactical games to platformers, whole bunch of different stuff. And I am just. I don't even want to go back. I don't want to go. We are playing so many different games right now to cover for the channel, right? So, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined just came out.
Yes, and we got to play that game now. And I have not yet. I'm almost I'm like 80 hours into the PS1
the
version.
Original game.
Yeah.
You're a lot further on the original than I am.
Yeah.
I think I may be 10 hours in on the original, and I wanted to finish that first, but the game's so long that I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then also, we've been playing Persona 3 behind the scenes.
Persona 3.
Because we wanted to talk about that. That's probably just going to end up having to go into the poll for future voting.
Okay.
Maybe I'll put that up against Xenoblade.
I'm having fun just playing it on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on Patreon, for the Patreon exclusive episodes, which do eventually go live on the channel, but it's like a 6-month delay.
Yeah.
We're playing Eastward. Which I have been adoring. It's just a phenomenal game. So we got a lot of games we're playing. And
Expedition 33.
Still trying to get through the end of Expedition 33.
Yet,
Act 3, I know some people have been waiting on that. So
it's coming.
We're trying to do everything in Act 3. We're trying to like complete the game, not just like beat the final boss. So it's going to take a little bit. So anyway, we got all that going on, but I just want to play this thing, man. That's like all I want to do.
There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to just play retro games in VR, but not the sit down in a theater and play it, like an interactive way to play a 2D game.
That's what I'm
more
saying,
interactive.
Dude. When I played
like
Triangle,
the pixels just kind of stand up and the buildings are just up. You'd have to remake the game, but reuse the old assets. That would be something I'd be very interested in.
When I played Triangle Strategy, and it's just like a table in front of you. That's how I wanted a remake of Final Fantasy VI to be.
Yeah.
I wanted a VR remake of FF6 where like you can move around the little stage, the diorama in front of you, and like see it from all different angles. I thought that would be very, very cool. Particularly with its sort of operatic theme, right? The whole thing is as they go in between scenarios, they go into a black void with a spotlight,
Yeah.
like that they're on a stage in
right.
front,
Yeah,
and
that's
they're
right.
talking to the audience in this very stage play
like a
way.
soliloquy.
Yeah. And so I feel like that game would be perfect for that type of remake, and Dragon Quest VII Reimagined for that matter.
I would too.
Anyway, I hope more games do that because triangle strategy is really cool in VR. Let's see. Somebody is saying there's a game room retro VR thing. Maybe I'll try that out and let you know. Emu VR.
Well, but it's probably just the theater mode
Maybe.
thing, though, right?
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what that's all about. But anyway,
Okay.
enough about VR. Just wanted to do a follow-up and let you know. May not be for everybody, but it is for me. A lot for me. Okay. Today's topic actually comes from, we've been talking about him a little bit recently on because we talked about him at his Game of the Year
Yeah, his acceptance speech
prediction for what the next Game of the Year would be and how it wasn't going to be a AAA game. It was going to be, he basically called out exactly what Expedition 33 ended up being. So that was kind of cool. But he had, okay, so this whole thing kind of started with the release of this new game, High Guard. Have you heard of this game at all?
No.
So it was announced at the Game Awards.
Okay.
Like nobody knew about this game at all. And as far as I understand it, the original intention was that this was going to be like a shadow dropped free-to-play game.
Oh, okay.
Right? They weren't planning to do a big marketing campaign behind it or anything. They were just going to kind of like drop the game. Bam, here's this like big new sort of like, I don't know what, it's like Overwatch, if you know that style of arena shooter.
Yeah.
Where you have like different like characters and stuff. So it's that style of game, but the difference is you ride on horses and you use like medieval armor and like weapons, but there's also
That's
like
cool.
technology and guns.
It's like,
So you are shooting guns too.
oh, okay.
So it's kind of this interesting not mismatch, but mix. What is the word I'm looking
Mashup.
for? Mashup
There you
of
go,
things. And what ended up happening was that Jeff Keighley just liked the game so much, just playing it on his own, like behind the scenes and knowing the devs, that he gave them a free spot in the what would be $1 million like advertising space.
People pay a lot for that.
Of the Game Awards to like promote this game.
Okay.
That's how much he personally believed in it and loved the game, right? So game drops.
Well, I shouldn't say this. I'll say this for the Patreon people. Maybe some back end equity. I'm just saying maybe, but I don't want to assert that. I don't want to impugn Jeff Keighley's. I actually really like Jeff Keighley. I think he's done. He's done
I've
a lot for the community.
Followed him from back when he used to do those big write-ups.
He had that G4. Was it G4 TV? He had a show on that.
Yeah, he did. And then he used to do these really great write-ups, like big articles for games that were about to launch. So I believe he did one for Mass Effect 2 or 3. I can't remember which one it was. And it's just this huge retrospective, basically.
Yeah.
And he's like sitting behind the scenes with the developers before the game comes out, doing interviews with them and talking
That's
about
cool.
it. He did one like that for Metal Gear Solid 2 as well.
Oh, really?
I think that's where he like
Way back
formed
in the
his
day.
relationship with Kojima.
Kojima, yeah.
Which is ongoing at this point. Anyway, this game, High Guard, he really believed in it, so he gave it like a spot in the Game Awards to push it.
Is it out now?
And it's out, and it has been just torn apart.
No one likes it?
People are not liking it.
Oh, darn.
The reasons why I will not go at length on, because I've not played the game myself, and I don't really play games like this.
Okay.
But from what I can tell, it's massive arenas. I mean, to where you need a mount, right, to like get across the map.
Okay.
Huge. But it's like 3-on-3.
Oh.
So the idea seems to be there's a lot of like running around looking for people to fight.
A lot of looking
in
and a lot of
giant
waiting.
arenas, and people feeling like the game is very boring for that reason, or maybe not loving the shooter mechanics or whatever it might be.
Okay.
So anyway, there's been big controversy around that. Jeff, you lied to me. I freaking trusted you. It's a free-to-play game, I think. So I'm
Right,
not
so no.
Wait,
you
is
didn't
it
miss-
free-to-play?
I don't
Maybe
know.
I might be getting that detail wrong. So if it's paid, That's a totally different thing.
Then
Cedric is saying, yes, it is free to play. I
free to
thought
play.
it was.
Okay.
So it is free to play.
Or is
so
it free to try?
I don't know why people are so mad. If it's a free game,
it's like, hey, I like
you
this.
don't
It's
actually
free.
have to invest anything.
But I didn't like it.
Anyway, there was a lot of backlash to this, a lot of like dunking on the internet on this new game that people worked really, really hard on for many, many years. So,
hey, Kaysen here. There has been some reporting by Polygon, among others, that Highguard's funding may have come from Tencent, in which case Tencent's senior vice president, Stephen Ma, is a member of the Game Awards advisory board. And so there could be a conflict of interest there. There may have been stuff going on that we don't know about behind the scenes, but once again, this is not yet confirmed as of the recording of this video. That's one of the things. If Jeff Keighley gives a primetime light to something where the advertising costs a ton of money, the assumption is it better be 10 out of 10. And so even if it's a 7 out of 10 average, game, that's just disappointing relative to people's expectations, I guess.
yeah. Okay. So Sven Vink, we're getting back to him now, the head of Larian Studios.
Sven.
He had a thread on X where he talked about sort of the current state of discourse and critique of video games, and he was expressing some of his frustrations about it.
Okay.
His frustrations about it. He did have a follow-up, which I want to get into as well, where he kind of like regretted some of the way he went about it. So I'll read that as well.
Okay.
But I think this was a really interesting launching point for a topic about how we as players go about critiquing games, why that, I guess, vitriol seems to be at an all-time high. Okay. I think there are probably pretty good reasons for it with the cost of games. Like it's an expensive thing.
Yeah.
And so you're investing a lot of money when you're buying a new game. And if it sucks, that feels really bad.
Right. And time.
So we're going to get into all that, but I just kind of wanted to read here some of what he said. So his first tweet says, "I don't like people shitting on things others have created. Putting something out there in the world makes you vulnerable, and that alone deserves respect, even if you dislike the creation. It's easy to destroy things. It's a lot harder to build them. The best critics understand this. Even when they're being critical, they do their best not to be hurtful." He says some more things, but he followed this up pretty quickly the next day with, "I should have known better. This one is being pulled out of context, so I'm going to remove it." So it seems he removed some of like the thread.
Yeah.
And then later, I think that's the following day, he said, "I really need to learn to weigh my words more carefully. I genuinely was trying to make a constructive argument, but phrased it poorly. It's been bugging me, so let me try again. My point wasn't that I have an issue with criticism. My point was that it doesn't need to be hurtful. In my honest opinion, that creates alienation between people who have the same hobby and essentially all want the same thing, better games. Constructive criticism really has higher impact. I get that there's a lot of disappointment out there. Good games are being mutilated to turn them into money machines. That obviously causes a lot of frustration because it makes the game worse." This is exactly what he'd be referring to when he was on stage at the Game Awards saying the next game of the year won't be made by a corporation for profit. It'll be made by people who care about the art they're making. So, he's reemphasizing that point of view. I think I've been fairly vocal about my thoughts on that and will continue to rant against those responsible because they devalue something I care about deeply. But they were not the ones I was thinking of when writing my words. Instead, I was thinking of those who truly care about their craft and want to continuously improve what they're making. I know many of them, and I've seen how hurtful packaging of criticism has affected them. Often their reaction is to stop reading feedback altogether, which is a pity because that means they stop engaging with their audience and lose all the good bits that they could get from feedback. Not to say that their reaction isn't understandable. Continuing to engage after repeated written or verbal abuse requires growing a lot of callus on your soul. Some callus is fine, too much, and you risk becoming desensitized. Sorry, this is a little long, but I think it's important. Personally, I got my first threats of violence in 2009, all because I was trying to make something fun and failed in that person's opinion. There's been a long list of things thrown at me since. It kind of sucks, especially given that I got into making games because I enjoy seeing people have fun with what I worked on. It took me quite some time to learn how to deal with that. These days, I still read the hurtful comments, but I focus mainly on the constructive opinions. They're the ones that helped shape Baldur's Gate 3's success. Speaking of opinions, I also wanted to mention that contrary to what's been written, I have a great deal of respect for game critics. Over the years, my job brought me in contact with many of them, and I hope they've felt that during the many chats we've had. Respect doesn't mean agreement, but I appreciate what they're bringing to the table. We have many ex-reviewers on our team. They're the first port of call whenever I work on something for too long and can't tell if it's good anymore. Often they'll tell me that what I made is shit, but they'll phrase it in such a way that helps me understand why it's shit. That's invaluable. The same goes for some public reviews of our games. A few were genuinely formative and have had a real impact because they pointed out things we were overlooking. I consider us lucky that those reviewers took the time to think through why something wasn't working, because by listening to them, we avoided making the same mistake twice. So yes, I see great value in criticism, and our development history should reflect that. It's the packaging I was trying to comment about didn't land as well as I intended, so hopefully this helps. Okay. So this struck close to home for a couple of reasons. One, as YouTubers who talk about games and have done reviews of games and have been critical of games, we have sat on both sides of this issue at the same time. Because we're creating something to be consumed and critique, while also that thing being a critique.
A critique itself.
Whether it be our podcast, our reviews of the past, or whatever. And I, in particular, I think have in the past been a lot more sensitive than you to the type of packaging of criticism
lobbed at you.
Lobbed at me. I
true.
think that you are much better at handling that than I am. I am, especially within the last year or so, getting much better.
I have noticed.
And so, I want to talk about that a little bit. How to develop calluses without
being calloused,
without having a calloused soul, or being desensitized, as he put it, but also how to continue to engage with your audience. And you need to see some of that feedback because it helps you grow, but also to step away from it, to not look at it entirely, means we don't have all these people here with us who we engage with regularly, which I think is all important. So I've had a kind of a long journey trying to find that balance. Still am on it and still looking for it. But on top of that, sorry, this preamble will be over in 1 second. I also want to talk about how do you develop a strong critical voice, and one that's actually constructive and effective versus just spewing vomit and doing no good at all. I think this is something a lot of people could use in terms of methods to get better at this. Not because I'm trying to condemn other people for being bad at articulating their thoughts or whatever. It's not like you need to get better at criticism. You're too mean. That's not what it is. 9
billion people on Earth, everyone else.
It's not me condemning you for being a bad critic as much as it is, I want to help you be more effective at articulating your points in ways that other people can understand where you're coming from, so that when you go into a place and you criticize something, you don't have the whole world jumping on your back, attacking you. And, it's just my opinion, man. Why are you so mad at me? Right? So that's kind of the conversation I'd like to have, if that makes sense. Anything spark
several things.
In you? Okay.
First off, I love how many layers removed we get from video games when we talk about this stuff.
Yes.
Because you have the game, then you have the people critiquing the game, and then you have Vink critiquing the people critiquing the game,
Yes.
and then he had to take his critique down because the people critiquing his critique of the people critiquing the game was just a little poorly worded or whatever. It's just funny how far back we can get when we're talking about criticisms of art.
Yeah.
But one thing that I think is important is to recognize that when somebody says they don't like your art or your whatever it is you've built, and we've talked about this a lot, they don't know why they didn't like it. They can give you a reason. That may not actually be the real reason.
Yeah.
But the better people can be in touch with themselves, the better they can individuate in a Carl Jung kind of sense, the better that they can explore their subconscious mind and really engage with the parts of them that are, subconscious, the better that they will be able to understand possibly why they didn't like something.
Yes.
And then the better they will be at articulating that to other people. Often when people say, your game sucks, I hate it, go away from me, you're bad, they don't, if you ask them why, what was wrong, what could I do better, they probably couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
They don't know. This is just how they feel. But the more people who can really kind of, come to terms with their subconscious self and really kind of get below the surface and figure out why you do and don't like certain things, as opposed to letting your immediate emotions kind of just rule the day in an outburst of anger, and you don't even know why that's happening. That's why I think the things that we talk about on the channel in general, and why some of the material that's like, ancillary to all the stuff that we always talk about, stuff like Carl Jung's work, is so important. Because the more people can do that, the better for everybody. It's not just the game people who you lob criticism grenades at on X, which don't do that, by the way. It's your family, it's your siblings, it's your friends, it's your community, it's everyone around you. If you're the kind of person who's going to be criticizing a game maker who's trying to do something fun that people can enjoy, and it didn't go well, and your immediate response is to just like, I hate you, you suck, you need to be off of this forever, never make another game, you're a bad person, whatever it is, whatever the criticism is, you're probably also doing that in your life in interactions with other people too. Just a guess, I don't know. That's maybe not always true. But if you're the kind of person who feels comfortable just blatantly deconstructively criticizing people all the time without any positive there, maybe working on that wouldn't just help the game developers not feel bad. It would probably help you in your personal life too, and all of your relationships. Yeah. So I think what Sven Vink is trying to do here, he's not just like, oh, the world needs to change and change world. Why haven't you changed yet? And he's standing, trying to stop the tide from coming in, which is what it probably feels like for him. What he's trying to do is just like touch base with the few people who will resonate with this and who have had these types of experiences, and maybe be the snowflake that starts the avalanche, the one thing that can, maybe he won't change everyone's mind. I don't think he should even try to do that, but he probably will take a few people with him in that direction of, oh, these are real people that I'm criticizing here. Maybe I shouldn't be so hard on them. And when a few people do that, then it just kind of can spread. So it may feel like he's fighting against the tide here, but I think it's important that more and more voices kind of say things like that in general. But the real important thing is that people get to know themselves. Know thyself.
Yes.
Get to know yourself, especially when you find it difficult to explain why you did or didn't like something, right? And it's like, well, because that happens to me all the time. It's just an emotion. I just feel it, man. But the more and the better you know yourself, the more accurately you can probably articulate why that made you feel that way. And that will help you in every facet of your life.
Yeah. I really liked what you said about how this can help people in their personal lives with their family members, coworkers, acquaintances, friends, things like that. That's really at the heart of, I think, why I think this is important, because I've seen it a lot online too, where somebody comes in somewhere and they express what they think is just their opinion on something.
Right.
And they get really surprised and defensive when all of a sudden
they're being attacked.
They're being attacked by people, and they're like, I don't get it. It's just my opinion. Why are like... So I want to get into some of like the technicalities of the differences between opinions and claims or arguments. All of these things are different.
Yeah.
And the way you go about making them plays a huge role into how people are going to respond to you.
Right.
So if you are a person who finds yourself, you think you just have strong opinions,
Right.
and you want to stand by those opinions and you have your beliefs, but whenever you talk about them, people are upset or mad at you, this may help.
It's almost like a self-awareness thing.
Yes.
It's like what may be lacking here is, and it may not even be that much, just a small amount of self-awareness that you might be missing. Like there's something you're missing here that maybe you're not realizing that's coming off.
Right. But where I actually want to start before getting into that part of it is to briefly talk about something we have spoken on many times in the past on the podcast, which is, do we really have free will?
Right.
Do we really make choices about the things we like and dislike?
Right.
I will not bore you with the details or the studies, but there have been studies done that suggest our unconscious is a lot more responsible for what we choose to do than our conscious mind.
That's a good way to put it. I like that. Yeah.
And because of that, we just have reactions to things before our conscious mind can make sense of why that happened.
Right.
Generally speaking, I would say this is the case for most people. You don't go into a movie theater or sit down to play a game and something happens and you just feel like, man, that ruined it or that sucked.
Right.
You did not go through this conscious process
Like a rational
of breaking down and analyzing why
with
that happened.
Math equations, yeah.
The emotion was instantaneous.
Right.
And only afterwards, when you have had a chance to sit down and think about it, do you start to try to piece together your reasons for why you felt the way you felt. In other words, you feel something first, you rationalize it afterwards.
Yeah.
There is not always a reason that you can concretely break down for why you felt the way you did, which is why I think people struggle as much as they do to articulate why. And there is a real skill that needs to be developed in articulating that.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what Sven is talking about.
That's what I think too. Yeah.
He's talking about learning how to articulate why you feel the way you do to the best of your ability in ways that will help people making games make them better in the future, or help studios who maybe are doing things that are harmful or that we don't like, help them understand, stop doing that in the future, because he's right. And we've talked about this too in our Xenogears, first episode of our Xenogears podcast series. Criticism is not negative, innately.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's got a negative flavor to it, but that's just because of the way that we're exposed to it all the time. In and of itself, it shouldn't have that.
No, it's just feedback about why something might not have landed the way you were intending it to. And I'm letting you know that so that in the future you can continue to improve your craft. That, at its core, is the function, or should be the function, of critique. Is, hey man, I think what you meant to do was this. And that's the responsibility of the critic, by the way, is understanding that part of it.
Yes.
I think this is what you were going for, and here's why I don't believe you accomplished that. A, B, C. Here it is. Here are my arguments.
Right.
Use that as you will. Rather, what you see much more often are people just raging about how terrible something is, and then people dogpile on top of that and talk about how much of the developer sucks, how much, whatever speculation on their reasons for why they did this or that. And there's just not really consideration for the human being on the other side.
But social media rewards that behavior.
Yes.
So if you really like it and praise it, the algorithms will support that as well. The middle, even-handed, reasonable critique, social media doesn't know what to do with it. It's just like, okay, you don't appeal 100% to either side, so just doesn't go anywhere. But
Yeah.
if you are the most extreme critic, you will get noticed.
Yeah.
If you're the most adamant follower, loyal to the game, you'll get noticed that way too.
Yeah.
But you will not get noticed if you're in the middle.
Right.
I'm not saying this is always the case, but social media tends to reward the behavior of people who isolate themselves on only one side.
Because content that creates strong emotions in the viewer gets interacted with more.
Actually,
So
that's
if
a good
something
point.
makes you mad, you want to interact with that and correct it.
That's
if
true.
something makes you like really hyped and
Yeah.
excited, you
You-
want to
you
interact
wanna-
with that.
yeah, interact
if
with that.
something's just like pretty interesting and you learn something, it's like it's not like you won't, but it's just like you're
It's
not
just less
as
likely.
drawn to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And so because that type of content is less likely to be interacted
Right.
with, less likely to get thumbs up or thumbs down or comments and engagements, that falls underneath the ones that create more noise.
Right.
So this is social media and just media in general.
Yeah.
They want you to stay with them, whether you're mad or
They don't
you
care.
agree.
That's true.
The point is that your eyeballs are there so that when their commercials come on,
Okay.
they can monetize.
You're
it.
right that it's not a phenomenon of social media. So when Howard Stern first came on the radio, I think this was the late 80s, maybe early 90s, he was able to hold an audience attention like no radio personality had ever done before him. And he was just on, I think it was in California at the time. And he was doing crazy numbers, but basically people would listen to his show for like an hour long, for like 60 minutes, right? And there was some study done and some research about the viewers of his program. And basically the people who liked his show would listen for an hour. And somebody also brought up, what about the people who don't like his show? He said, actually, they listen longer. And the answer was, initially, it was, why do the people who like his show listen for so long? 60 minutes, that's gold for advertisers. And a lot of it's the LA commute, right? Like traffic,
Yeah.
it takes forever to get to work. And that's during the time he was on. But the answer was because they want to know what he's going to say next. And then what about the people who hate him? Well, they listened 80 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they want to know what he's going to say next.
Yeah.
It was the same reason for both ways. But the people who really didn't like him actually listened to him more and longer than the people who really did like him. And the people in the middle probably just changed the channel, right? But he was one of the most divisive figures at the time. And that split, it's almost just kind of, you get enough humans in an environment and these fractions just kind of happen. And social media absolutely exacerbates that. But you're right that it's a phenomena that well predates social media.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to consider about that too is the engagements 100% of the engagements you see online, I'm making this up, but just follow me for
99?
the sake of argument, are 1% of the people who saw the thing.
Oh, that's true. That's usually true.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is something this is more advice as a creator for other creators who get really down when they see a lot of that negative feedback coming through, right? And they're like, they're reading these reviews and people talking about how much you suck. And it just makes you feel bad.
Right.
You have to understand, and that's really hard to understand. It's really hard to imagine these numbers of people interacting with what you made. We can barely keep track of like the dozens of acquaintances we have in life, much less millions of people who are watching, viewing, reacting to things, right? It's something I don't think the human mind is really well equipped to comprehend.
The human mind is equipped for the Dunbar number, which is like 200.
Yes.
And as soon as you're getting in like the millions of views, I remember when we were first, getting a big following on YouTube, and it was like, holy cow, we could fill like this stadium's worth of people with how many people watched our video. That's crazy. And then before you know it, it's like, we can fill that stadium 30 times over with and it's like, it's just a number that we can't even really fathom anymore.
Yes.
It's just like, it could be a billion. It wouldn't really make a difference in terms of my mind. It's just like tons of people watching my stuff. Like, that's crazy. But even smaller creators who maybe get like, 100 views per video, that's a lot. Like, just go back 20 years. That's a ton of people. Mm-hmm. Who could ever get 100 people to go watch anything that they made 100 or even 20 years ago? Basically nobody. And now it's not even, that difficult to do.
Yeah.
It's the wildest thing.
Well, you look at something that, let's just use YouTube, for example, right? Since we're there. Something that gets like 50,000 views. You're doing pretty good in terms of grabbing engagement if you have 5,000 ratings, which would be what, 10%?
Yeah,
10%.
that would be quite good.
That would be
quite
like a really, really good number.
Yeah, good interaction.
Of interaction on a video with 50,000 views.
Yeah.
Not all of them get that. Some of them are way under. Some of them are maybe a little over if they're like really good at it. Yeah. But again, that's 10% of the people who viewed that video bothered at all to just click a button that I liked or disliked it.
Yeah.
That goes down even more significantly to the number of people who actually write comments and give feedback. We're way down below 10% at that point.
Yeah.
So the people who actually bother to go all the way to leave a review on the thing that they're seeing,
they're more extreme. That's a good point. That's a good point.
More angry than everyone else.
They're already outliers just by that fact alone.
Yes.
That's wild.
Or they are just way more touched by what you did and just like, oh my gosh, this video changed my life.
Yeah.
This is the extreme to which that person writing a comment already feels about what you do. Again, that's not to say like everybody, because there's other things that come into play. Some people are just extremely introverted like me.
Right.
I might in my entire life of watching YouTube have commented on people I follow maybe 5 times ever.
No.
I've commented on my own videos in response to people talking to me. But like if I'm just watching a YouTube video and if I really like it, like that was an amazing thing that this guy just taught me.
Never comment.
I still don't comment on it. And I've seen people do this on our channel. I have never commented on YouTube. This is my first ever YouTube comment. And I was so moved by what you said, I had to say something.
Yes, I've seen that many times.
So there are those types of people.
Yeah.
And there are also people on the other side of that spectrum who are very social and just love to talk.
Yeah.
And so, maybe for them, they don't have to be moved quite so far to those extremes of emotions to comment.
Right.
There's all a spectrum in all of this. But the point is, the number of people actually engaging with you is just very, very small in comparison to people who actually watched it. And the vast majority of those people who actually watched it were probably just fine and just moved on with their day. They're not these people like us who are terminally online, reading comments and responding to people and fighting. That percentage of the population is actually small, but it's 100% of the internet that you see.
Right, because it's there. You're right.
So you get this really skewed idea about what the world thinks of things by gauging what the internet's response to it is. What you're really only getting by the internet's response is like 1% of what people think.
That is a huge problem. A lot of people base really big decisions. A lot of corporations base big decisions off of internet banter or reactions to things, and that is not representative of like most people. In fact, this was maybe a study done about 5 years ago or so, back when X was called Twitter. But it was revealed that something like 80 or 90% of all Twitter accounts have never once written a tweet.
Yes.
Like never.
Not
and it's like,
time.
okay, now some years later, the question of bots comes up, but I don't think they were all bots. I don't even think they were mostly bots. I think bots often will comment. It is just people who created something to be able to see what other people are saying, but they never contribute themselves.
Yes.
I almost wonder too if Sven Vink is maybe trying to get those people to contribute a little more at the same time. Right, where it's like, look, the voices that are getting loud, the squeaky wheels getting the grease are really kind of screwing things up right now. Can you, regular people, can you talk a little more? Can you, input your voice a little now and then, because it's getting pretty desperate out here.
Right. So with all of that in mind, right, if you are creating something and you're getting these angry responses, let's just go into like a more of a normal scenario, right? Like we're not talking about something that might be a controversial game that's getting a lot of bad reviews or something like High Guard.
Right.
Let's just step into one of our normal video releases, which on average gets about a 98% approval rating.
Yeah.
There are some times where maybe that dips down to lower 90s.
Yeah.
Very, very rarely have we said something that pissed people off so badly
Below 90.
that only less than 90% of people agreed with it or were okay with it or whatever. But generally, we have a really high approval rating. Still, you might be going through some comments and you might read overrepresented sort of like sentiment there of people being pissed about something you said.
Right.
And being an individual in this only brain you have and the only way that you know of interpreting the universe around you,
Right.
you can only think about your reasons for why you might say something like that, right? Like, what would drive me to say something like that to somebody?
And you can't help but think that.
Yes.
But sometimes that's a not great paradigm.
It's the only way you can understand or try to understand someone else. Like
how desperate would I have to be?
What would it take to make me say something that like angry or just like vitriolic to someone?
Yeah.
Now understanding that, I'm assuming that person is in that frame of mind towards me.
Okay.
Holy crap. How did I make someone feel that badly when I was trying to do a video essay about how, whatever it is. And I was trying to make my arguments and trying to be very precise. How did they get so mad?
Right.
That's a hard thing to grasp.
Yeah.
The otherness or the another brain operating in a totally different way from you.
Hold on, I have to stop you here because this harkens back to, I think I just realized something. This harkens back to what you said about how I take criticism differently than you do.
Yes.
I used to, when I was a teenager, I don't know that you were ever this way, but I was a mudslinger on internet forums back when I was a teenager. I was that guy. Yeah. And I know that as soon as I lobbed an evil comment bomb on top of some people who really meant nothing but good, that I was 16 and I just thought it was funny and I turned off the computer and went and played basketball and I didn't even really care that much. I know, so maybe that's why when you're assuming, reading the comments, you're assuming a frame of mind where you never, I don't know that you quite were an internet trash talker the way that I used to be.
No, I wasn't. Yeah. I think that I have had this problem of like approaching everybody in good faith, whether they deserve
what a problem.
Well, it's a problem because it's a problem for myself, not like, because you get like bogged down in like trying to like be fair and like actually
super reasonable.
And the person's not even trying.
I know, it's a joke.
Right. Yeah.
They're just trolling.
They're just trolling.
I used to troll all the time. There were a few forums that I used to just have a blast trolling in. I got banned often. I often would get banned. It was just fun. I would play RuneScape just so that I could figure out how to get around their censorship stuff. Yeah. I was bored. I was a teenager and I was bored. So I didn't really take a ton of stuff seriously back then. And so as I get older now, and I'm like, couldn't fathom doing any of that stuff anymore. But when I see those comments, I'm like, oh, I used to do stuff like that. Screw you, dude. Like, go away. Don't talk to me. I'm not listening to you. But you were never like that. And so it's just a different paradigm for you.
Yes.
It's harder for you to just ignore it. That's funny. I never realized that till now.
It was really hard for me to learn to recognize that and see it for what it is. Because my tendency was always to doubt myself first. It's a matter of self-esteem and other, depression and other problems. So when somebody was maybe doing what you're saying and they're just bored and trying to like get a rise and get attention,
right? I'm
seeing that as this person has been driven to a fury that if I were to say something like that would have taken like extreme offense.
Yeah.
And this person really thinks I'm the dumbest human being in the world. And are they right? Like, are they right?
Yeah.
Am I actually that stupid? Maybe I'm wrong. Like, and then the defense mechanism, the automatic kind of defense mechanism of anger as a defense is what comes up and then starts an argument. But this person's may not even really care.
Right.
They're just wasting time laughing at me as I get spun around.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's exactly right.
So a lot of that happens, and that can be difficult for people of a certain mindset to understand. There's a line in the Silmarillion somewhere talking about Manwë.
With Melkor.
And Melkor, he wants to forgive his brother.
Right.
And it says, I don't know exactly what it says, but it's something like he could not understand evil and so therefore could not see the deception.
Yeah.
Right? Like Melkor was showing all the signs of repentance and I'm so sorry that I did this. Yeah. And Manwë can't comprehend that he's lying.
Right.
Because he's so not that way that he
Yeah.
can't recognize evil when it's right in front of him.
Right.
There's something like that was happening in me to where I could not recognize good faith. Or sorry, I couldn't recognize bad faith. I only saw good faith. And so if somebody was saying all of this harsh stuff to me, they were saying it in good faith in my brain. So that's something that I think creators need to learn to get over or understand or recognize correctly,
Right.
to be able to push aside something when it deserves to be pushed aside versus engaging with it because it deserves to be engaged with. So that's what I'll say on like the creator side. Is there anything you wanted to add to
I
that?
think that was great.
Now moving on to, because obviously
The critic side.
we're not going to reach the people who are bored online.
You
and being
can't
trolls.
reach if they don't want to be reached. Like there is no way of reaching people who don't want to be reached. Like
Yes.
they're having fun.
Yes.
They're having fun,
And often they are
and sometimes they're making
young
money
people.
off of it. Yeah, and often they're
there's
young.
also that too. There's also the
Social media lets you monetize this stuff.
monetization side of it, and this is
Yeah.
where like public
the
figures
clicks,
who are
yeah.
grifting, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They may not even be honest about what they're saying.
Right.
They just know what's going to get a strong reaction.
It's
so
a
they
job.
say that.
Yeah, they're making money.
It's just a job, right?
Yeah.
So there's that whole aspect of bad faith too, that you are feeding into by getting so mad and
Mm-hmm. That's
reacting to it.
Yeah.
There is nobody at fault for this being the way it is. There's people at fault for taking advantage of it.
Sure.
But we, the audience, are
Yeah.
at fault for it existing. The fact that outrage can be monetized is our fault as
interesting.
viewers and consumers.
Yeah.
The fact that we get baited
It's
into
what we click.
clicking
Yeah, it's what happens. Yeah.
is the reason it is the way it is. So we need to look at ourselves
Yeah, hold
and
up a
mirror a
mirror.
bit there
Yeah.
and stop clicking on stuff that is outrageous.
But here's the thing, man. Like think
It's
about
hard.
that.
It's hard.
It's like, oh, this crazy thing just happened. Oh, you won't believe what? And then a big red circle
Yes.
around whatever. It's like, I want to know what. And you click it. How do you get around that? Like
It's
that's
really
just
hard.
that is like mental human hacking. Like that's only going to get worse with AI, by the way.
Yes.
But the way that they're able to hack the mind and like control you and get you to click on something, it's almost like we can't help but be interested in outrageous things.
So, that all said, we are not presuming to speak to grifters and trolls.
Yeah. Screw those
We're
guys.
speaking to people who may have trouble in expressing their
There you
opinions
go.
and feeling like people are mad at them when they try to express their opinion.
There you go. So more the good faith, what
Yeah.
you're talking about,
You're-
those kinds of people.
You're
yeah.
actually going in
It's
somewhere.
the third category.
Wanting to have a conversation. You were frustrated by something and you want to express that frustration, but you're going into a den of people who loved that thing to express it.
Yeah.
And you're trying to like persuade them or something like that, or try to help them understand where critics may be coming from. But anytime you say something, people just get pissed off at you.
Yeah. Who's the guy we talked about with the Unicorn Overlord translation? I can't remember his name. now.
That was, what was his
Okay.
handle? I'm forgetting right
Zakogdo.
now. Zakogdo. That was it.
I feel like it was that kind of thing where people assumed bad faith or something like that.
Yeah.
Turns out it wasn't, but there was maybe some things he could have done differently.
Yeah.
That would be more the kind of approach that we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Like people like that, where it's like they have some pretty heavy criticism, but maybe didn't go about it the right way and received some pretty heavy blowback and actually might even want to do better. It's
Right.
like, great.
Yes.
That's who we can reach.
That's who we're speaking to. And I've seen this happen in our Discord. I've seen it happen in other communities I frequent online, where somebody new comes in, and they maybe just finished playing something that's hot right now, and they're like, "Okay, this community is talking about it. I need to go like talk about this."
Yes.
like you feel a need. This irked me. I need to go like express my frustration. I think this is
And that's
especially true.
good. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, this is especially true for people who are frustrated about something and want to express their frustration. They want to get it out. That's healthy, by the way.
Yes.
You need to do that.
Don't what's the word? Suppression.
No.
Suppression's not always a bad thing, I would argue. Civilization is built on suppressing certain things.
Yeah.
But you don't suppress everything, man.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you feel like you just got to get it out, there should be places for that.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone should feel badly about having a packaging, as Sven Vink is talking about here, that is sharp or harsh.
Right.
I think there's a way to even have that type of voice where you're not, as he's saying, just shitting on someone.
Right.
There's a real difference between that, just vomiting, barfing, toxicity everywhere, versus even having a harsh critical voice, being kind of negative in how you're saying it, but still being constructive in the way you package that.
Right.
I think that is also important. It's not like, okay, the answer to this is to come in with a bundle of flowers and sunshine and rainbows and give your critiques with a smile on your face and all the kind words. I also want to push back against that. I mean, you can do that, right?
You could. And then at the very end of your last sentence, be like, by the way, I really didn't like your game. After you heap all the praise, give the flowers and smile, but really I didn't like the game, and then leave. That's all the person will hear.
Yes.
Is like, they don't care about all your praise. Well, you didn't like the game? And it's like, but everything else was good. Like, no, but the game is, that's what I'm talking about.
You can do all kinds of verbal gymnastics of, in my opinion and my experience, who knows how others felt, but just keep in mind this was for me. I kind of,
Hashtag not all.
Yeah, I didn't really love this because blah, blah, blah. You can
you
be
can speak
really
your mind.
careful
about
it if you want to.
Yeah, sometimes that comes across not genuine when people are too padded like that.
Right. Like, people might think that you're not, like, that you're not being fully honest.
Yeah, forthcoming.
Maybe you're expressing what you thought correctly, but if you're not including some of the frustration in your voice, it's not fully expressing.
That's a good point.
Maybe like what you really felt when you're playing it. So that can be detrimental in a certain sense. But I do think that there is also a benefit to taking a careful approach to criticism because you don't want them to get the wrong idea. If I'm coming in here throwing bombs at everything because I was frustrated, that might give the idea to the person that they did nothing right. Whereas if you are careful in how you articulate it, you can pinpoint the problem areas and say, but all the rest of this, like, you guys have something really going here. You don't need to feel like you're a complete failure at life.
Well, I have a question. What if you legitimately feel like that person should never make another game
again?
Okay,
so that's the other side of it. So there are some people who are just not there yet, right?
Right.
They just they need to develop some basic skills.
Right.
They are not ready for the level to which they're trying to do something.
And then the question is, what if this person is 45 years old? Like I'm not saying yet. Don't say yet. Take yet away from your
don't
your
belong
summary.
In this field at all.
You shouldn't. Why don't you take a seat?
What? You should probably try something else.
Yeah, go.
This is not for you.
Go become a salesman. Or, go run for politics. Don't make another game.
So
I don't have examples for that, by the way.
This might be
good. A lot of people feel that.
This might be good. We have Man, Bear, Pig here. I believe I've seen you in other comments in other places. Talk about how he believes if I play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 again, that my mind will be different or will be changed, or that I will see the error of my ways or whatever. This will be a great example.
We are planning on playing it again.
Stick with me here, Man, Bear, Pig. Let's do a real case scenario.
Practicum.
On this.
Here we are.
I believe, and of course I'm biased because I'm me, right? I am me.
Yeah, indeed you are. Fact check true.
I believe that my criticism towards games like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 or the Final Fantasy VII Remake project, what else? Persona 4 or something like that, has been passionate and filled with frustration,
right?
But has been fair.
Okay.
Because I believe I have articulated my reasons why and have not ever shit on something.
Right.
It has actually been really important to me that I don't do that I don't just run into someplace, take a dump all over something, and run away.
Right? I will second that. I've known you for a really long time, and I can't even think, dude. It's been more than half my life. But you've never been the kind of. Actually, it's been like almost 3/4 of my life.
Yes.
So we've known each other.
We've known each other longer than we were alive at the time we met.
Yeah.
Like
way longer. Because it was like 12.
Yeah.
And anyways, you've never been that kind of person.
So with that being said, I I believe through like my 20s and maybe early 30s, I was a lot more like passionate. My voice could get real frustrated at times.
Sure.
And I remember when we would do film criticism when I was maybe in my early 20s, I was a lot more harsh in my voice.
Right.
And obviously not as good at articulating.
Well, I was going to say some of that's Dunning-Kruger. That when we started doing our YouTube stuff, we felt pretty expert.
Yeah.
And then we kind of slowly learned. We were amateurs.
So let me see, because Man Pig just replied. You have spoken fairly for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and you were the guy to spearhead the original Xenoblade Chronicles 1 translation project.
Right.
I respect all things considered. Okay. So, but stick with me here, because I still think it would be cool to do something in real time here to sort of like demonstrate some points.
Yeah, don't concede too fast.
But I did get in a lot of hot water over my criticism of those things I talked about.
Right.
So Xenoblade 2, a lot of people were pissed at me for my opinions on that game.
Final Fantasy 13 also.
People, I in fact I think I was more careful in how I voiced my opinion on Final Fantasy 13 than literally anything in my life. I have been so fair to that game and have tried so hard to listen to people that anybody, in fact, the video we put up where I was like, let's take a step back and not call this the worst game ever.
Right.
That was controversial. People were mad at me for not being hard enough on the game.
Yeah, well.
So there's nothing you can do about that. Going back to the point about for creators.
Yeah.
People are just like not going to get you. That's even an even harder thing for me to accept sometimes.
Well, your own family doesn't always get you. It's
no.
like you can't expect internet strangers to get you.
No. It's an especially painful thing for me, and something that I have had to continually learn to get over, to be misunderstood. I don't know what it is about that, but like when I say something and I'm very articulate, very careful about how I said it. I did not say this. I said this. And someone claims I said that.
Right.
That would just make me so freaking mad, dude. Like, and it's the anger is the defense.
Right.
What it's really hitting on is some kind of pain about no one's ever going to understand me. There's some loneliness, some sense of solitude, some sense of feeling isolated that is touched when people don't understand what I'm saying and take it the wrong way. And obviously articulating your thoughts is a skill you develop. So I have been worse at it earlier in life. I'm getting better at it and will continue to get better at it. But no matter how good you get at it, people are just going to take it the wrong way.
People don't always hear what you say.
No.
And they think you said something else.
And so there's another skill that needs to be developed to learn to allow people to be wrong about you.
So that's a quote. Somebody said...
Yes, there's a great quote
I can't remember who said that.
There's nothing that will make you more powerful than learning how to let people be wrong
about you.
Just
about
let
you.
them be wrong about you. And not respond and not have to correct them and not have to fight them about it. When you can get to a place where you are powerful enough to have someone say something outrageously wrong about the way you think or what you said, and you go, I didn't say that.
Because it's wrong.
That's
and
wrong. You're
not
wrong.
to get mad about what you didn't say.
Exactly. That's really hard for me, just in general. So, okay, back to the Final Fantasy VII remake stuff. So people got really mad at me over those things, even though I tried really, really hard. And it was, I went through this really rigorous sort of like process of responding to the audience on those Final Fantasy VII remake episodes that I did. You did not play the game, so you hadn't commented on it.
Soon.
Where people would tag certain like time codes in the video. They'd say, blah, 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 blah. They'd get all mad and be like, you're saying this, essentially implying I said that. And I watch it back and I'm like, I didn't say anything like that, dude. So this is a whole mess we've gotten ourselves into here. There's three things that I want to touch on in terms of like how to go about expressing your opinions, hopefully in ways to which you'll be understood and people will be able to concede like, I see your point of view. I don't agree with it, but I see your point of view. I understand it, and I can, accept that that's how you feel. I didn't feel that way. It didn't bother me for whatever reason. It did you, but I get why you feel the way you do. I think that's what most people want. Most people are searching for is to be understood.
Right.
They have a feeling.
I think so.
They've had an experience, and immediately they start going out into the world looking for ways to share that experience and be understood. There's a certain level of validation that comes in being understood. And if you're bad at expressing opinions, making claims that are correct, and making strong arguments to support the claims, you will not be understood, and you'll have a really bad time, and those interactions will go very badly for you. So I wanted to explain the difference between those three things.
Okay.
The difference between an opinion, a claim, and an argument, because that's where I think people get tripped up. They come into a discussion making claims and thinking they're just expressing opinions. The two can have some crossover, but they are not the same thing. Or they make a lot of claims thinking they're making arguments, but they're not making arguments.
Right.
Because they don't understand the difference. So I've been talking a lot. Do you want to say anything first before we dive into that?
A couple of things. I mean, just in general, this just quote has flashed through my mind like 50 times, but Carl Jung said that until you make the subconscious conscious, you will be ruled by powers that you don't understand, and you will call it fate.
Yes.
Right? This is more or less a different way of saying what you were talking about. And I had something else too. It was like just slipped through my fingers. I can't remember what it was, but it was something highly relevant.
No,
I'll think about
I'm glad you brought that up, because that goes back to like where we started. Right?
Yeah.
Remember, really, really try to remember this. You feel something about what you're seeing in the external world around you far before you know the reason why you do.
Yeah.
The emotion, the reaction comes first, and that's an unconscious process. So
It has to be. You can't rationalize that.
there's a lot of work that needs to be done on yourself to sort of align the unconscious and the conscious, to get them in rhythm, working together and understanding each other.
You would think that they just always just are in rhythm. No, it takes work, people. It takes work.
Think about...
It takes work. It takes work for other people to understand you. It takes work for you to understand yourself.
Yes.
And if you don't know thyself, you're going to have all sorts of problems.
All sorts of problems. And a lot of times we're lying to ourselves. And
That's
there
a
are
whole
reasons
other
for that.
thing. It's
Because
true.
we want to be accepted in a
Or
certain
it's a
group.
defense mechanism.
Or we don't want people to know certain things. There's all sorts of reasons we lie to ourselves.
Yeah.
So until you integrate the unconscious, which would be called the shadow in Jung's terms,
Yeah.
you don't know yourself. And if you don't know yourself, how can you explain why you feel the way you feel?
Exactly.
You don't even know.
That's it.
So
that's perfect.
That's like the great majority of people too. You got to understand that. People don't know why they think or feel the way they do, and they're lying to themselves when they try to explain it.
Yeah. And that when you say the people, it's like 90%.
Like
it's
most people.
It's like most people. And call me a pessimist, but I think that will continue.
Oh, it's
I
going
don't
to
think
continue.
that's ever going to change.
It's not ever going to change.
There will always be 90% of people who are not rigorously thinking through and trying to integrate with their subconscious.
No.
It's just not something people feel the need to do.
And all of that is caused by pain. You come into the world, you experience pain or trauma, and that begins your process of lying to yourself, and this separation or split between the unconscious self and the conscious self. You wear that persona, that's what that term comes from, that mask of the person you want to project yourself being in order to be accepted, in order to be successful, in order to not get into trouble. But the unconscious is someone else and is trying to push you in other directions, and you fight against it to mask it and keep it in check. That's not how to live a healthy, fulfilled life. You got to learn to integrate those two things and be who you really are.
Right.
And it's only in doing that that you kind of get that relief, and you can start. And then in further doing work, when people do the things you were afraid of before, the reason you wore the mask, you're able to understand if that's their pain talking, I'm okay with who I am. Yeah. That's the whole goal. So in pursuit of that, you have to understand, have enough self-awareness to understand, I might be lying consciously about what I felt. In this argument I'm having with a person online, I might be lying to try to win the argument rather than actually being true to what I really felt, because I can't let this guy beat me. That's a mask.
That's
That's a defense,
Yeah.
right? And that's very natural. I'm not
Oh,
saying
it is. Yeah. It sucks to lose.
It sucks to lose.
I don't want to lose.
But in losing, you will know yourself better a lot of times.
You learn more losing than winning.
If you know you're losing, this guy's making better points than me. He's more knowledgeable than me.
Right.
I'm getting my butt kicked in this argument. If you have the self-awareness to learn from that person, no matter how harsh they are, that's the point of critique.
Dude, that's the biggest thing that I think I've learned in the past 10 years is to slowly, and it was a big, long process. It took me a while, but to slowly just, and I think I had a few good role models for this, even just online people. But every now and then, I would hear somebody make a claim that I thought was interesting and they sounded smart, and someone immediately refuted it. And what I did my whole life was double down. And up until maybe about 10 years ago or so. And even then it's still, I still can get that way a little bit sometimes, but to see how the person who responded by going, "Oh, wow, you seem to know a lot more about this than I do. Explain that one more time."
Yeah.
And I was like, that was the most powerful thing that I've seen somebody do. The most powerful and respectful thing I've seen somebody do is to just like stop, say, time out. I am misinformed. Tell me that again. You seem to know more about this than me. In public, I would never have. That's like a nightmare for me. Like to be like, wow, so you know more than me about this, don't you? And just to admit that, he just admitted it in front of everybody.
So healthy.
And he just had a smile on his face, and I could see him thinking. He was a smart guy too. I could see him think through it, and by the end of the conversation, he was, I don't want to say back in charge, but he had reclaimed a position of authority in what was mostly an argument. But the way he did it was so unbelievably smart. Because it made him seem, in my mind, he just became by far the most powerful person in the room right there, just with that admission. And then once he was, but he was still nimble enough in with his mind to be able to understand when the guy recited and put forth the additional evidence and kind of rounded out the position. He was able to immediately understand it. Like for me, sometimes it's like, if you're gonna expose me to a new argument right now in public. But part of that is this podcast. Actually, you often will do that. The games will do it, or I'll do it, or we'll just talk about stuff, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I just had this realization, and I'm in front of a lot of people, but here it goes. That is something that this podcast has helped me to do a lot.
Yeah.
The more conversations you have where you just immediately say like, I admit I'm wrong, please teach me. That's a power that you can't get any other way, and it's very, very beneficial to your life.
Right. 100% agree with everything. That's really powerful, and it's that level of humility again to admit someone might be more knowledgeable, even if you're in like an intense argument, to be able to stop and say,
time out to my emotions.
Yes, hold on a second. Let me see if I can learn from this person real quick.
Teach me that, please.
Right? That takes a level of humility.
Can I tell a story real quick?
Yes.
Okay, this is ancient samurai stuff. Okay, so like 300 years ago, there was a samurai who was renowned. He was one of the best in the world. He lost a duel. He was kind of getting older, right? He lost a duel, and the guy went to kill him, right? They were going to do the whole like, I lost, you beat me.
Seppuku.
And what he said, it was something like that. What he said was, kill me slowly. I want to feel everything. And the guy immediately dropped his sword and knelt down and said, teach me to be like that. How did you get to the point so comfortable with death to where you would dare utter that? Like, I've never heard anyone in my life say that. Everyone begs before I kill them. And he knelt down and he basically became a student of the guy who he had just beaten in a duel because he immediately recognized that guy has something way more valuable than whatever I have.
Yeah.
That story, I only heard it recently, and I don't even know if it's true. It might be some fictional fable but that is an interesting story.
Yes.
That is the kind of, that is the correct mode of being.
Yes.
Right? To just immediately, even in victory, drop everything and realize I've lost. Like I beat you in the fight, but I've lost at something way more important, and I didn't even realize until I just heard you say that. Like I'm losing the game of life, even though I'm winning at what I think I'm an expert at. Like teach me to like win at a higher level.
Right.
It's a whole nother mindset that you have to go into.
I freaking love that story. That is phenomenal. And it brings something else to my mind too, which is generally if you find yourself in arguments a lot, or kind of in contentious debates a lot, it's usually because, like, at the core of why the people are arguing is because they want to feel heard and understood.
Right, yeah.
This is, I think, really at the core of what, like, all human beings want.
I know. This is like...
We are...
Yeah.
It is like the struggle of being an individual. You are alone in your understanding of the world. And you're desperate for someone else to, like, validate that that's not crazy or something.
Sure.
Right? Like,
well,
I had
sanity
this-
is measured in the collective. It's not
Yes.
individually. It's,
Yes.
Well, in the context, you know, are you insane or not? It's measured by the people around you.
So you
How
go
does everyone else act?
express how you understood that, and someone else says, yeah, me too. And you go,
There you
"Whew,
go."
I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I'm not alone.
I've felt that several times.
I am not isolated.
Yeah.
We are social creatures
Right.
in individual brains and bodies. That is
That's a mismatch.
conflict.
Yeah.
It is
That's a
like
good point.
an underlying conflict of being alive. I need to feel a part of a group to feel safe, secure, fulfilled.
But I also don't want to be bound by the group
But
or... Yeah.
I'm an individual.
But I'm my own
I can't
person, yeah.
think your thoughts.
I want to be free, yeah.
So I have to try to explain them in a way that hopefully you understood it. Whew, we can be, okay, we understand each other. We are in this universe and we're seeing the same thing. That feels very validating, right? So that's what people really want when they are talking to you at all. They are talking to you because they want you to...
Like anybody.
Do you see what I'm seeing? Am I alone?
That's
I don't want to
interesting.
be alone.
I think you're right. 99% of all conversations are basically just that.
Yes. And so when you're arguing with someone passionately, you're denying that person's reality, or at least that's what it feels like.
Interesting.
Now, how much humility and power does it give you to say, maybe I'm seeing it wrong?
Right.
Let me learn from you real quick. Explain it. Hold on. Let me sit down and listen.
Yeah.
And if you are able to do that, gives you power to be able to say, it's okay if I'm not seeing it right. It's okay if I'm crazy in this situation. I don't want to be, so let's see if someone can enlighten me so I can get out of that state and get into somewhere closer to the truth. That makes you powerful. Because no matter how harsh or mean or whatever it is they're saying, if you're willing to listen in good faith, often that's going to change the tone of the person talking to you too, because
Right.
they will feel understood. The
Yeah.
thing that they're trying to have. You're both going for the same thing. And if you give it to them first, very, very often they're going to reciprocate that. So that's a key starting point
There you go.
to this, is understanding that conundrum. We're on opposite sides of an issue. I am fundamentally seeing the universe differently from you,
Yeah.
and you seem crazy to me, and I seem crazy to you. What has typically been natural in human society is to see them battle it out and to humiliate the person who was wrong and uplift the person who was right.
Yep.
And it is the ultimate humiliation if you're wrong.
Yeah. Well, it's in public.
Yes.
And maybe this is one of the biggest negatives to come out of everything becoming public, right? Like private spaces are slowly disappearing and everything, you know, even just like surveillance in general. It's like there are ways, like, you know, if your phone might be listening to you all the time or whatever it is, there are ways in which you have lost a lot of the private. People may not care so much about being wrong with somebody one-on-one alone in private. In public, it's a whole different story.
Yes.
The whole game in public is to shame and humiliate the other person. That is
Yes.
the whole game. And I think it has been since forever. I think even animals, it's just like shame and humiliation. You see dogs, you see wolves, you
Power
know,
move,
they're not arguing, they're fighting, but it's the same kind of result. It's like, submit to me, you lost in public, everyone knows it, right? That just sucks. That's what people want to avoid. If you can do that in private, practice in private, do that privately, because you will not be able to handle it when it happens publicly. And that's what you're subjecting yourself to when you get up on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, or and you just have these public arguments and you're just critiquing people in public all the time. Gosh, I mean, Well, DMs aren't always open, I guess. So,
Yeah.
but if you can, try to keep these criticisms more direct. You know, when you're lobbing these hate grenades, it's like it's for public consumption. You don't even care if they heard you or not. You care that people around you saw what you were doing, and oh, look at me, I'm lobbing a hate grenade over the fence of the enemy. Oh, yay! And my friends clap for me because it's it's a show. It's entertainment. It's I'm doing this as a show. But yeah, a small piece of advice would be to do this stuff in private first. Practice this stuff in private before you jump out onto these public forums and start doing this stuff publicly. Not only for yourself, but for your unfortunate victims as well.
Yeah, but if you approach conversations with this framework, this person wants to be understood, I want to be understood. And you can take power in the conversation of saying, your humiliation bounces off of me.
Right.
If I lose, that's not humiliating.
Yeah.
That makes me powerful.
That's true. You decide what humiliates you, not somebody else.
Shame and humiliation is a personal experience. It is not an external reality.
Right.
It is an internal emotion that no matter how hard they want you to feel it, they can't make you feel it. And so if you have the power, this shield that comes up that just reflects all humiliation away, you can take power in being wrong, because being wrong and making mistakes is how you grow and learn. It is a necessity. It is mandatory for growth. So we live in the society that praises and uplifts the strong as the ones who are right and the weak as those who are wrong.
Yeah.
Yet, in order to become strong, you have to be wrong all the lot.
That's true. Oh, wait, who does it? Successful business people say, the best entrepreneurs will tell you this. The first thing you need to do is get into the game and fail as fast as possible.
Yes.
All right. The people who are afraid of failure, those are not the people who make it.
Yes.
Right. The people who are like embrace failure and they want to do things wrong as quickly as possible. It sounds backwards.
Yes.
This is also true with language, by the way, for anybody out there learning languages. The people who are afraid to speak it because I want to make sure I know everything before I speak it because I don't want to be embarrassed. Those are the people who take 20 years to learn the language.
Yes.
And the people who are like children who are just like, I'm just going to go start saying whatever and just talking to people and I'm saying wrong stuff, but whatever, I don't care. Like they'll correct me and it's okay. Those are the people who learn it very fast.
Yes.
And that it all comes down to that. But once again, you've actually just kind of taken what I've said and changed it a little bit. So now where I'm thinking, maybe that public humiliation is okay. You just need to learn to become immune to it. You just need a shield for that. And also to be aware of it. Like, hey, we're in public. This could go poorly for me. Like, I should take that into consideration before I lob my grenade. But that doesn't mean I'm going to do nothing. I can still publicly do that. And then it does become a learning experience where it's like, that didn't go well. And maybe people didn't respect you. You probably didn't present it properly. Maybe you took a big stand on something that turned out not to be true. And people all could tell that you didn't do your homework. Maybe that type of shame or humiliation is a good thing and can actually bring you up. And next time you'll be prepared, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it doesn't always have to be in private. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's benefits both ways, but that's a very good point.
It's good to be wrong publicly. And it's good to learn how to not feel the deep shame for it. Because shame is a very damaging emotion, right?
Well,
but
usually,
but if you feel badly for,
like you didn't do your research, you said something
you're
wrong.
Like, I didn't do what I should have done there.
I think that's healthy.
There can be
shame.
like a sinking feeling or some bad emotions that are positive in the fact that they're correcting you.
Right.
Which I think is what you're getting at.
I think so. Maybe the word shame isn't the right word, but I think it is the right word, but I don't know.
But there are levels to shame that can actually you just turtle up, right?
It's true, and maybe it's for shame for things that you can't change. That's when it's really hard, I think.
So anyway, very, very good points. Let's see, where did I want to jump? It's like a million possibilities are opening. It's like which one I choose, which way I go. So, okay, you're coming into a conversation, you're understanding the framework for that conversation. What do they want? What do I want?
Right.
Can I take power in this conversation by not being humiliated for being wrong? And can I be okay, not only okay with it, but can I accept learning from this person who seems to be my enemy in this moment?
Right. That takes real humility.
That's a lot of power, by the way.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's actually the opposite. It's the total opposite, which is why I loved your samurai story.
Yeah.
The guy who lost was so powerful.
Right.
In his,
isn't that crazy?
In his loss, in his way of accepting that the other person was moved to learn from them.
Right.
That's, I think, the mindset you should come into all conversations with. I don't have it figured out. I don't know everything. Right. I have no idea what level of understanding this person has. We'll find out in this conversation. But I'm open to being humiliated by this person right now.
That is a hard thing to admit to yourself. But here's another fun one. What I love about that samurai story as well is that even if you win the argument, that person still has something to teach you.
Yes.
Right? And it could be on a whole different level. And that person may even have a whole paradigm that you're missing, even if you technically won the argument. You know?
Yes. Okay. So you're in the right mindset. You understand what you both want. You're on a good foot. Now it's time to express your feelings, your opinions about things.
And you don't have to lie. You don't have to.
What is an opinion versus a claim, for instance? People get these two things confused all the time. An opinion would be, I wasn't moved by the ending of Final Fantasy X. Just didn't really do much for me. That is an opinion.
Right.
I have expressed how I felt about something. That is my unique experience. That no one can know that better than me.
Right. It's like
By
a
the way,
subjective
this is
value.
not my actual opinion. I really like the ending of Final Fantasy.
I think it's wonderful, yeah.
I'm just creating something out of nowhere.
Final Fantasy 17. Say 17. Final Fantasy 17 left me wanting.
So that's my opinion. What is not an opinion is to say they did not explain in Final Fantasy X how the world works and why that's why I didn't like it. That's a claim. They did not explain in the story the mechanism behind how this works, and it's so confusing because of it. That's a claim. I'm stating something as if it's a fact, and I'm using that claim to express why it didn't land with me. It didn't land with me is the opinion. The claim is the reason you're asserting. Okay? Someone else will step in, which has happened to me in real time, and say, you didn't pay attention during the Bahamut conversation, did you? Because they explained it all right there.
Okay.
And then I go back and look at it and go, oh, the entire thing is right there in freaking plain text.
Okay.
Right? There's all kinds of reasons why we might have missed something, got distracted, you were cooking dinner, someone came in the room and said, wow, why didn't you take the trash out today? You're like, I don't know, Mom, like freaking hell, I'm playing this game right now, leave me alone. You got distracted and you missed the line.
Right.
So you assumed
that everyone missed the line.
That's not there.
Yeah, or that it was their fault or something like that. Yeah.
They didn't explain it.
Yeah.
I just made a claim that they didn't explain it. Someone else comes in and says, here it is, boom, plops it right in front of me. What's my response to that? To double down because I feel humiliated?
That's one. That's
well, why
one
are
option.
you mad at me? It's just my opinion. No, it wasn't just your opinion. You made a claim, and that claim is verifiably false. Do you have enough humility to accept you were wrong and adjust your opinion? Or is there some other claim that you could make about why you felt the way you did that we can test again?
Well, sometimes that would require you have to play the game again.
Yes.
With that extra nugget and now see how it lands,
yes.
Right? It's hard to alter your opinion on whether the game landed or not based on somebody else telling you that you missed something. It's like, oh, okay, you're right. Now, so that means that my reasoning was wrong, but I still had the feeling. Right, so it's hard to change that. It's almost like you gotta have to like play the whole game again.
Yes. So there's one example. Let's use an even more obvious one. We'll get at the more obvious, like easy to recognize ones, and then we'll try to get closer to one that's a little more difficult or nuanced.
Okay.
I don't like rain. That's my
the
opinion.
singer?
No. Just like rain outside,
I'm
like
just joking.
water falling from the sky.
In Korea, there's a famous
Is there
singer.
a pop star?
His name's Rain. Yeah.
Okay.
He's dope.
I hate rain and cloudy days. I'll word that very strongly. Man, I can't stand rain. Oh, it pisses me off so bad. I freaking hate rain. Someone says, that's an opinion.
Right.
Is my personal experience, my personal feelings of frustration about rain. Someone says, my goodness, why? Rain is so important to the world. It's the reason why fresh water exists and life can even exist on this planet.
Right.
Why do you hate it so much? Rain contains a certain chemical of acid that burns my skin.
Well, some types of rain might 1 in 1,000, maybe.
That is a claim. You are claiming a reason for why you hate it. It burns my skin when I stand out there because there's acid in the rain.
You know, witches melt with water. That's my response.
Now, anyone with knowledge of what's actually in those molecules could verifiably prove that is not correct what you're saying.
Right.
Your claim about why you hate this is totally misaligned with reality. It's just my opinion, dude. Can you lay off? No, dude, that's not an opinion.
Right.
That's a claim about reality that we can all look at, and we can break it down in a microscope and show you that the thing you're claiming is in that water is not there. You know, I'm watching you stand in the rain and you are not burning. I'm looking at your skin and there's no such thing happening.
Right.
But it's my opinion that it's happening. No, it's not actually happening. So, okay, we understand the difference between opinions and claims now.
Very nice.
Arguments are a totally different thing. Arguments are reasoning behind or what supports the claim. Let's try to get a little bit more. Okay, are you still here, Man, Bear, Pig? Can you remember any of my claims about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that you took umbrage with? This would be interesting to get into in real time. So let's just break for a second and take it. Okay, maybe we'll read this. Dude McGuy is putting it this way. Opinion: the ending of FF10 did not move me. Claim: I was not moved by the ending of FF10 because, here comes the claim part, the Titus Yuna romance isn't well written. That's a claim.
Yes, but it's a claim about something that is a subjective value judgment itself.
Well, how do we define
well written
good writing?
Shakespeare.
That's something that if you want to dispute, like if I want to dispute someone's claim about the game is not well written, that's a claim, right? How are you defining well written?
Right.
What does well written mean to you?
Yeah.
And if they lay it out in arguments, they're probably going to be, that's when an argument comes in. They made that claim, now they need to make an argument about why it isn't well written. And as they make their arguments, those may or may not be convincing arguments. And then you start to evaluate, poke holes in, debate the arguments. This doesn't hold up because of whatever, and you go back and forth. But you have to try to understand why, how that person's even defining something like well-written.
Right.
Because they're not,
it won't be the way you do.
Probably operating on the same definition you are.
Right.
So when they say something's not well written, that means something totally different to me than it does to the person making the claim.
Guaranteed. And also, it's then the fact that it's a translated game throws a whole nother wrench into it, which is like, well, the writing was done in a whole different language. Because like what I first said, when you said well written, what does it mean? My thinking was Shakespeare. That's what I said. But it's like, wait, but this game was written in Japanese. The translation is what we have. And for me to use Shakespeare as the measure for a game that was written in Japan is probably not fair, right? And so it's like, okay, now we need to reassess the paradigm, like the way that we're dealing with the criticism.
Okay. So, okay, here's a claim by Cedric. Everything is in fact subjective. Your objective truth is subjective.
I have an idea about that.
I would need to hear an argument.
Here's the argument.
For him first, but
there is no objective because there is no object. What there is the highest level of subjectivity. Universal subjectivity.
Okay, so that's how we're defining
objective. Objective is universal highest level subjectivity. Is that
because we do
is that good,
have
Cedric?
measurements, right?
Yes,
we do
yes.
have ways of measuring things.
Yeah, but it's always within the paradigm of or the universe or whatever.
Right.
Whatever it's constrained by something that could be seen as a subject.
Man, Bear, Pig, did you think of any claims I made in Xenoblade 2 yet that you wanted to lob out here real quick for us to talk
and then
about?
Man Bear Pig says, "You didn't ask me to do." Oh, he got interrupted for 1 minute, and he thinks that it didn't happen.
So, you have to define what do you mean by objective? Because there's probably some more sort of like higher level, maybe philosophy area in terms of like an abstract area of like, the closer you get to something, like it just keeps like with numbers, right?
Yeah.
What is the term? I'm horrible at math, and I haven't studied it in years and years and years.
Principle I'm thinking of right now, but explain.
Like, the more you zoom in, like the more numbers there are, you never actually like get to one, like where you're touching one. It's like the more you zoom in, there's just more space and more numbers
like
between
Zeno's paradox,
something like that.
Yeah, which is just that two objects never touch.
I know. Butchered my attempt to explain what the concept I'm thinking.
What I was thinking of was Heisenberg uncertainty principle.
I'm not touching this armchair.
Right. You're just
I'm not
the molecules are
if you
separate.
Zoomed in far enough,
Yeah.
you would see that like the atoms, the molecules, they're not actually
touching.
coming in contact.
Yeah.
Very hard thing to comprehend on this macro scale, but
The idea is nothing's
that's
wet.
the way it works.
Yeah, the water molecule is just next to the other molecule.
Yes, they're just really close together.
Yeah.
And we have senses that sort of like give us input to that. But I'm not actually touching this chair. So if we're measuring in the macro level, am I touching this chair? Objectively, yes. On the macro, I am.
Yeah.
On the extreme micro,
Technical,
I am not.
Yes.
So if you're measuring objectivity by some similar metric like that, now we're having a different conversation than saying there is no such thing as objectivity.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So you have to establish
that's perfectly
that
fine.
first.
Perfectly fine. Yeah.
Okay. Did Man Bear Pig? I think he's writing here.
Oh, there he is. Opinion. No, it's on the bottom there. Opinion. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is superb comparatively to all the other series titles.
That's a claim. You can feel that way, but you're also making a claim. Like there's a claim in there. This is where it gets messy because you feel that way. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is, or are you saying that that's my opinion? Sorry, because I think you like the game, right?
No, he's saying it's superb. Yeah, so that's not what you were saying.
Okay, so Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is subpar comparative to all other Xeno titles. That's actually a claim. That's not just an opinion. You might feel that way. What really the opinion is, this is my least favorite of the Xeno games. That's the real opinion there.
Okay.
I
So
personally...
the word superb, does that not put it into that value?
Did he say superb or subpar?
Subpar. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's subpar. So the real opinion in that is it's my least favorite Xeno game. That's an opinion. The claim is it is subpar comparatively to the others. You're claiming something tangible about it.
Interesting.
It ranks less.
I see.
As a claim. Now, if you were to go into a Xenoblade 2 fandom forum online and say, hey, everybody, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is subpar to all the other ones, everyone's going to jump on you because you didn't state an opinion. You made a claim, and they're going to want you to use arguments to support that. And you better be on your game with that, or else we're going to humiliate you right now.
Unless you're a teenager looking for a good time.
Okay. Now, next, claim the storytelling does not reflect or does reflect proper creative writing principles and techniques. That is a claim as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a claim.
Okay. So, it does not. Okay. The storytelling does not reflect proper creative. That's also a claim.
Yeah.
So both of those were claims. So we're getting at the point here. If I go into the same...
So if he just said, instead of it is subpar, if he said I feel that it is, then that's an opinion.
That's an opinion.
But if you just claim it because it's a statement, that's what, okay, I got it.
That's the distinction here.
Yeah.
If I go into a Xenoblade 2 fandom forum and I say, this game just really didn't do it for me. No one can argue against that.
Right.
How can you? You're not me.
Right. Yeah.
I am stating how I felt about
Are
something.
you sure that the dopamine receptacles in the posterior cortex of your
Let's hook
cerebellum?
you up to a freaking machine and see if that's really true.
Yeah.
Outside of that kind of semantic nonsense,
Right.
nobody can argue with an opinion.
Right.
Because there's nothing to argue. It was your individual subjective experience. That's what an opinion is.
Right.
It was my opinion that I was really sad at the state of Xenoblade as a series after playing Xenoblade 2. I felt so sad about how far we had come. I felt sad about where we are now. That's an opinion.
Yeah.
It's an opinion about my feelings, a statement about how I felt. That's my opinion. No one can say, no, you didn't feel that way, unless they're just being dumb or argumentative for the sake of it.
People will say that.
You can try to,
it.
but you can't, with any grounds, make that argument because you can't know what I felt.
Right, because there's no way to ground it. Yeah.
Right? Now, so that's the difference between an opinion and claim. So if you're going into places and you're making claims, but you think you're making opinions, and people are fighting you, it's probably because you're not sharing an opinion, you're sharing a claim. And people need you to argue for the claim.
Right.
And do it well, or else they're going to tear holes in it.
Happen to agree with you.
Right. Exactly. So arguments are then where you go into more details. Well, this happened, and then this happened, and those things don't really make sense together because they claim this here, and then here they kind of contradict the lore, and blah, 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 blah. You make an argument.
Right? A great one has a good claim here. FF7 Remake is a proper remake because it was written predominantly by the original team of FF7.
Okay.
That is getting into the arguments.
That's a claim.
Right? That is presenting some evidence, which is look at the writers. Right, so the claim is that it's a proper remake, and then the evidence is because the original writers wrote it. How could it not be? Right,
now,
that's my evidence.
Right, that's the evidence being presented. Now, we have someone else come in who says many of the original writers of that game are no longer at the company. So you might have some, but you do not have all.
Right.
And without all, you are missing certain portions, certain ways, certain ideas, or there may have been disputes between these writers about how they should do something, and so they had to make a compromise back here.
That was brokered by the director, who's no longer there.
They don't have to make that compromise. The producer is no longer there. There's all these other nuances or additional facts that a person can make in their counter-argument. Right? That maybe person making this claim didn't know at first, right? But so you have to then get into the weeds and make arguments about it. So you do that back and forth, taking someone's claim, making arguments for it, making counter arguments to that until you find out whether the claim is substantiated.
Right.
Is that true? Is that claim you just said true based on my understanding of your definition of it, based on your understanding of my definition of it, and based on the arguments to support the claim? Do they support it or not? Many people don't want to do that because that's a lot of freaking work.
It is. And these are randos on the internet. It's like none of you, it's like people don't have time for that. You know, they have time for the opinion. They don't have time for all the other stuff. My favorite one is when people lob a claim grenade. And then somebody else will offer evidence contrary or say explain your reasoning, and they'll just say, "What is it my job to Google for you?"
Yes,
like, well, can't you just Google it yourself?
Exactly.
Why are you bothering me about supporting my own claim?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just funny.
Yeah. So, and many platforms they don't support a way to have conversations like that.
That's a good point. Yeah.
X is a great example.
Yeah.
You have character limits, and you can't really get into deep sort of
it's not
lengthy arguments.
It's not made for what we try to use it for.
So what it ends up being are claims.
Yeah.
And then someone ends up feeling humiliated and going, well, it's just my opinion, bro. And no, it wasn't your opinion, it was a claim, but none of you are making good arguments. You're just throwing claims at each other without support.
Okay, I know why. Claims, opinions, no one cares about your opinion.
Yes.
is why.
Yes.
But if you throw a claim out there, you'll get the likes and
Yes.
the stuff because other people will identify or resonate with the claim. But your opinion is just yours, and it really actually doesn't matter.
Right.
And so people quickly find that on social media, their opinion doesn't really gain much traction because it's very unique to them, whereas their claims tend to get a lot more support.
So, yes. So you get
a lot
attention
more of those.
when you make outrageous claims.
Yes.
You don't get as much attention when you make an honest opinion that's just, I didn't really like that. Okay.
And also there's no room for an argument. So it's just claim city.
Now, some people may inquire, well,
Right.
why didn't you like
Sure.
that? What they're asking for is a claim.
Right.
Because if you say, this is how I felt, and someone's like, but why did you feel that way?
If they're interested in you.
I can't argue with your opinion. I need a claim to argue with.
Right. Yeah.
So they're inviting a claim so that they can dispute it.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
So this is the distinction.
That's funny. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, go ahead. Did you have something?
No,
to say
I
about
don't.
that?
I just want to say now. How do we bring this back to the to Vink?
If you want your claims and on a higher level your opinions to be understood, you have to understand there's going to be work involved in that. You don't just throw out a claim and go, "Why don't you get me?" or "Why are you mad at me?" It's just my opinion. That doesn't work. If you want to be understood, you have to learn first to distinguish the difference between your opinion and a claim. Right. And then secondly, you have to be willing to do the work to support the claim you make. You have to offer an argument that's persuasive. You have to have done research. You have to have something you can pull and show somebody. If I'm going to go to a Thanksgiving dinner and I know that some contentious political topic is going to come up, or perhaps a religious one is going to come up, and it's going to inevitably come down to me contending with someone else at that, at that dinner, I'm going to have to bring some evidence to support my claims. But I don't want to. And if you don't want to, then just avoid the conversation. Because all it's going to end up being is mudslinging claims back and forth and getting upset. Also, take power in being willing to be wrong on some things and listen to people because it will soften them. Let them be heard. Right. Let them feel like you understand them. Let them feel like I have these frustrations or these feelings and it's really bothering me, and don't try to dismiss it. Try to say, I see why you feel that way. That will make them feel like I'm not an idiot. I'm not alone in the world. I'm not isolated. Someone gets me. Okay, I want to get you now too. Right. And it will open that up a lot.
People reciprocate. Yeah. Because we're social animals, we don't just want to be understood. We also want to understand.
Yes.
And so if you offer somebody that olive branch to understand them, they innately, it's built into their body. They want to understand you right back because communal cooperation is how humans thrive. Yes. And it's how we survived. It's evolutionarily programmed into all of us. So if you offer it to them, they will usually 98% of the time they'll offer it back because they're programmed to, unless they're really resisting it and they really just want to dig in, and they just bask in the glory of you giving them, of you conceding and understanding them, and they still don't want to understand you back. That'll happen sometimes. Usually not. We are not programmed that way. We are programmed to immediately want to reciprocate and to give back and to, how can I understand you better then?
Yeah. So
it's good. We should make a new social media platform.
Yes,
it's called Understand.Central.
Understand.
And everyone's, it's going to be great.
Unify.
The algorithm will be geared towards the center, not the edges. Don't even know how you do that.
I was going to say one more thing there, and it was, okay, we've already established who we're talking to here. We're talking to people who are trying to, be understood, who are trying to express their opinions in good faith and are having issues with that. So if you go into this with this mindset, you're going to listen, make them feel validated is maybe not quite the right word, because they might have beliefs that shouldn't be validated, right? Or
this
that you believe like
this is the
those
central
should
problem.
not be validated.
It's like, no, I don't want that world.
What you should be trying to do is not validate their opinions, but validate their feelings.
Sure.
I understand why you feel this way.
That's pretty
I
good.
get
like
where
that.
you're coming from. I
yeah,
see why you're feeling so strongly.
Right.
I don't support the belief because I think it's harmful. I don't support the behavior because it's harmful. Did I say behavior twice or belief?
Belief. You
Belief
said
and
belief the
behavior.
first
Okay,
time, yeah.
good. I don't support that.
Right.
And here are my reasons why, but I understand
But you
why
aren't
you
just stupid.
are
Yeah.
frustrated.
Right.
I understand why you are feeling pain. I understand your pain. You're not alone in feeling pain. I get your pain.
What would you ever gain from just denying somebody else's pain? I don't.
Yeah.
That's not a good move. That's
No
just
idea.
not a good move because they feel the pain. You can't tell them they aren't feeling pain.
Yes.
So at the very least, you have to, just on a human level, like you feel pain, and I see that. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to say you shouldn't, even if I don't agree with you. It's
Yeah.
like there's something is happening here, and I'm not just going to deny it. That wouldn't work for anyone.
It is my experience that if that is where you're coming from in your heart in a conversation with someone who's also engaging you in good faith and not just trolling you, that they will come down several notches of anger or frustration or whatever, and you'll be able to have a debate rather than an argument.
Yeah.
And if you continue, that debate will turn into a conversation or discussion rather than a debate.
This happened to me very recently, just a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
It was basically this exact formula.
Wow.
We came to a point in our discussion about the world and things where it was like, you don't, there's a huge miss. You don't trust my sources, and I don't trust your sources. So we, I kind of had this slow realization, like we can't even talk. Like we don't agree on what's even real.
Right.
And just to slowly step back and just like, wow. And it actually was good because I realized that I was going down a dead end. Like this isn't productive at all. This isn't going to go anywhere. And this is somebody who's actually family. It's a cousin of my wife's. And so I just like, I did the whole timeout thing. I didn't say that, but I was just like, well, the argument is over now, basically. I didn't say that, but I was just like, you know what? Let me just try to understand this and why this person believes the way that they do. And it was really fun. The other individual opened up right back to me, and that night was showing me all sorts of books. I'm like, see, here's the books that I'm not just one-sided on this. I actually do agree with you. And I have these other, it has this big library of books, and it was just like, oh, cool. And I actually was like, oh, I know these books. These are dope. One of them was like Les Miserables. And she had this whole book on Joan of Arc. And I was like, dude, Joan of Arc's like my favorite. So anyways, I was like, this is dope. But we would never have gotten there if one of us didn't just kind of step back and just say, you know what, we're changing gears. This is no longer an argument because we can't argue fruitfully at the moment. This is now just kind of a sharing time of discussion. And it ended up being really, really fun.
Yes.
And I think we both left the interaction feeling, and it was like hours long of a discussion, feeling just mutually enriched, basically.
Yes.
Like, wow, this is where you're coming from. She didn't want to how would I put this? She didn't want to convince me or be convinced, but wanted basically just to be heard. I don't know. It was such an interesting
understood.
thing. Yeah. But it was just like a month ago.
Yes.
And it was really fun. And without us doing this podcast, I probably never would have let go. And I probably would have continued trying to argue. I remember there was one time where it was just like, there's like literally every newspaper in the world has agreed on this fact. Yet she denied it as a fact. And I was just like, I don't know what to do except to just say, how did you get here? And what do you consider a fact? It turned into a philosophical discussion.
Yes.
It was no longer an argument about what is real. And it turned into a whole different thing.
It never is about that.
Right, exactly.
It's never actually about what you're arguing about.
Yeah.
It's about, am I alone? Are you not seeing my pain? Look, I'm feeling this pain. Can you please validate that that's real? Can you see the pain I'm feeling? Yes, I can see it.
Right.
Oh, thank goodness. Now we can talk. without being mad.
Because the reasons are almost post hoc rationalizations, right?
Almost all.
And if you're just arguing in those, it's like you're missing the real thing, which is why I was so not convincing. I wasn't even touching the stuff that she actually cared about.
Yes.
Which we eventually got into through a way higher level discussion than what we were having at the moment.
Right. I am feeling horrified by this thing I saw in the news. And the fact that that thing is possible in this country where I live horrifies me.
Right.
That's the opinion, right?
Yeah.
And that is driven by a real, deep pain. It's hurting so bad that I have to shout this on social media. I'm looking for people out here. Please tell me you're feeling the same thing I'm feeling, right? And if you're not, how can you not? How can you not be feeling this pain that I'm feeling?
Yeah.
Are you lacking empathy?
Are you not a human? Yeah.
Right? No, I am understanding that pain. And I recognize where it's coming from. And I know that it's real. And you are valid as a human for feeling that. I see exactly why you feel that way. Ooh. Okay. We're not having an argument anymore.
We didn't leave agreeing, by the way.
No.
We didn't leave agreeing, but we both left enriched and had fun, it was awesome. But my 20-year-old self would be like, if I didn't win, then I lost. Or if I wouldn't really know how to take that. But, at this point, it's just like I didn't win and it was awesome. Right? It was awesome. I did not win the argument and it was awesome.
And once that guard comes down, then you can start probably getting into claims and
that maybe next time. Maybe next time I say
debating or arguing them without the tension.
Yeah.
And I'll say this as my last
that's a good
point. Maybe you've gone into a conversation with all this in mind. This is how you're going to do it. And you find that it's starting to get heated. Remember that that's probably because that person is touching on the pain of I'm not being seen. I'm not being understood. Am I crazy for feeling this way?
Yeah.
All of these things that you doubt about yourself and don't want to be true, and you're lying to yourself with your little persona mask that you wear, drop it. Drop it. Let yourself be vulnerable. Acknowledge that you're not arguing about the facts because people interpret facts differently.
Yep.
What you're arguing about is this should have evoked this feeling in you because it evoked it in me. Am I crazy? Am I wrong? I can't be wrong. That's natural. It happened. I've had that feeling. I'm not crazy, right?
Right.
No, you're not crazy. I get why you felt. So when it's getting tense, it's because you're starting to get defensive about those things. I'm not being understood. I'm not being seen. People think I'm dumb. I'm not dumb. And that's what you're actually fighting. That's what you're actually arguing for. What you're actually arguing is I'm not dumb. I'm not crazy. I'm not alone.
You're
All
right.
the things you're afraid of.
You're so right. Yeah.
I'm afraid of being those things. You're touching my pain points in ways that are affirming those things in my brain, and those things can't be right. So I'm fighting you on that. But that takes place as, oh, your source is BS and they're lying. And what actually happened was this. I read it and this you're getting in all these facts and claims and arguments, but that's not really what's being touched on or argued. So if you can resolve that underlying real pain and dissolve that and connect, then talk about all of those claims, it'll be a lot easier to go, oh yeah, I think I'm probably wrong on that. I didn't realize that these other sources disputed that. Probably should reassess that. You're way more willing to do that when the person acknowledges your pain, is what I'm getting at. So anyway.
And that's better for literally everyone.
And if people kept that in mind when they made their opinions, critiques, and whatnot, and the people who are receiving the critiques are aware of those things, there'd be a lot less pain involved in the whole process of criticism. And it would serve the purpose which it is actually meant to serve, which is to help people get better.
Right.
I'm not saying this Well, some people do say it because they have pain and trauma, and misery loves company. So they're just saying things to hurt people.
Yeah, yeah.
And that you need to be able as a creator to see that for what it is and say, that's not helpful to me. Right. I saw that and it doesn't even bother me. I'm taking power and refusing to be humiliated by that. But real critique, honest critique, good faith critique helps people get better at what they do. And that's valuable. We need that as creators. And so I don't know if this 2-hour ramble has made any sense. But
what's that line from Mononoke, the old man with leprosy?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm probably not making any sense. Don't mind me.
If any of that made a modicum of sense, that would be a miracle.
I liked it. It's like it's a slight paradigm shift for a lot of people.
But I
think it's good though.
In recent months, we've had discussions about how I'm going to change the way I approach talking about games and the way that I approach criticism. And there were some people who were like real skeptical about that.
Right.
Probably thinking, oh, you're just going to start trying to like say nice things and appeasing things all the time. And so they'll take certain things I say, like what I said about Final Fantasy 13 not being the literal worst game of all time, and say, oh, you're just trying to appease certain fans or whatever.
You're not being honest. Yeah, yeah.
And
that's the hermeneutic of suspicion that people have in modern times.
What I'm trying to clarify here is that my approach to critique and my approach to talking about stuff is one from a view in which I'm trying to see the human being and their pain first before I start getting into all my claims and arguments. I think that's an important starting point to start healing our public discourse and our connection as human beings to one another. And I no longer wish to contribute, even if it was not on purpose, to lobbing what seems like unsupported claims that explode and shrapnel like tears people who love that thing apart. I'm trying not to do that while also being able to make the same opinions clear. I still felt the same way I did. I still have claims about why I felt that way, and I still have my arguments for it. But I'm at least starting from, I see you, the human being who disagrees with me on this, and I see where you're coming from. And that makes it a lot easier to have that conversation.
I love this, but what do we do about that awesome meme about the chiseled, handsome man who just walks into a room, throws a truth bomb into it, and walks away just like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes there might be value to just like lobbing a claim in there into a room. Even just to be funny sometimes. We haven't addressed the humor side of this
Here's
yet.
another podcast
There's
topic
some funny
for another episode.
Critiques.
Is there value in trolling?
Yes, that's it. That's what I'm saying. Because X is simultaneously also one of the funniest places. This is the YouTube comment section. Funny. I swear, we have wasted some of the most intelligent humans in the world on like the YouTube comment section, basically. Like there are some smart, funny, witty, just like some of the best lines that you'll read anywhere. And just the most concise like aphorisms are living on YouTube comment sections of obscure videos. And it's just like, man, these guys should be surgeons. And they're just sitting here on YouTube. But they clearly, you have to be smart to make like a witty, joke, like in certain ways. There's place for that too. Often, like when I was doing things as a teenager, it was for fun, and sometimes I probably took it too far. But there would also be, I guess, a fourth category there, which is they were joking, and maybe you didn't realize they were joking. And that's also a public entertainment. It's a performance, right? The whole different aspect of this thing. But there is value there too.
That would be a good topic for me because my initial instinct, especially in the past, would be like, oh, no, goodness, no, trolling is only bad, but maybe there's value to it. Maybe there's something to this behavior that has emerged from an evolutionary standpoint that serves a purpose.
I'll tell you what, the anarchists love the troll.
Oh, yeah.
They love the troll.
All right, everybody, thank you for watching. As always, we appreciate you. I think it was the beginning of this episode where I said,
Was it?
go purchase the tickets to the thing, right?
Oh yeah, the show in England and whatnot.
If you can make it
We'll
to
hype
London,
it a few more times.
if you can make it to, I'll have a whole separate video on it too, but if you can make it, I'd love to meet you. Come out and meet me, Hitoshi Sakimoto, Night Sky Prince, Daryl from Final Fantasy Union, and others who will be there for this. So appreciate you. See you next time.